I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Giulio, Gallerati, Ryan Lynch. We're here. We're doing it.
We're here, and just like Giulio stated, we're doing it.
We are.
I just want to clarify, just in case they didn't get it.
Thank you, Ryan. We are indeed doing it, and we had a big weekend, bro.
Big weekend, special taping, special weekend. All these people coming together, and you killed it. I saw the 9:30 taping.
Oh, yeah.
And I bumped into Hillary right before, and she said that you killed it in the first taping, and so you kind of just got to play and have fun in the second one, and it was awesome.
Thanks, man.
It was fantastic, dude.
I was really happy you were there, man. I was really, thrilled with how many people came to town for it, and it turned into this like big weekend, which I'm happy it did. You know, it was a lot of fun, and it almost felt like a wedding. You know, like a wedding, you have like plans scheduled every single day. Like I had such a tight schedule. Now we're recording this the day we're both back, basically. So this comes out Thursday. We're recording it on Tuesday. And, you know, I feel shell-shocked from it all for sure, for a variety of reasons. But it was wild that it arrived and we did it, and that was it. And there's so many, it was uncharted territory for me. Like I've done so many different things, but I've never filmed an hour special. So I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what's normal to do or what's a bad instinct. Like the day before, so let me paint the picture for you guys for the whole weekend. But before I do this, actually, Lynch, I want to hear your take on all of it. If you have any things that stick out. I know you basically just did that, but was there anything to you that you noticed where you're like, oh, that was interesting or whatever?
I love the stage setup. So it wasn't a traditional like theater stage where it's just, and you know, the adjectives that I'm using, I'm not privy to stage diction. Jargon. But it wasn't a traditional, you know, flat theater Broadway type stage with the audience just sitting in straight rows. It kind of came out into a semicircle type of stage. Would you describe it as that?
Yep.
So
a full circle, actually.
It was a full circle with a little bit of a runway leading out to it. Yeah. So that was really cool to see because you had people to your right, your left, in front of you, and then on the sides, kind of surrounding you as opposed to just being in front of you.
Right.
So that made it a more immersive experience, and that made it more intimate.
Yeah.
So that was something that being there, I noticed, and I hope that that's conveyed also in the final cut.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes out. So that was the one thing that stood out. I noticed that the air was a little foggy.
Yeah.
Was that? I'm sure that was intentional.
They do that on purpose. Yeah.
And what is the purpose of that?
I forget what the exact name is for it, but when they film specials, like, I don't know if they all do it, but it like just makes the shot crisper. I don't know like the specific science behind it or like why specifically they do it. I just know that it makes it look good. So I've noticed it before when I've gone to other people's tapings, and yeah, we were very clear that we were going to do that also when we shot ours. So
yeah, that was cool. And then also, you know, you got the big boy cameras. Like it was a production. It was legit. So it was cool to be in the audience for what's going to be a fantastic special. It was sick. So those are some of the things that I noticed from the set.
Thanks, man.
I loved the stage design. It was really cool.
Thanks.
I also think Ricky did a fantastic job, and Zach, just, you know, getting everybody ready, building everyone up. And then when you got brought out, I think Ricky elevated the vibe so much that everyone it was electric.
Yeah.
So it probably was a great way to get started.
Totally.
But obviously we need to hear how you felt about everything.
Yeah, dude. Well, like I said, a surreal experience, so many different things about it. And, you know, I hopefully this is interesting to people just hearing about what it's like to film a special. So now I hope for the most for this, but I don't actually know where it's going to end up, but I shot for the stars. Like I shot it like a full scale production because I don't want to limit any possibilities. Like there's a way to shoot a special for less, and there's a road map there that makes sense where like you shoot it for X amount, which is probably much less than, you know, I ended up ultimately paying. But then you throw it online and you get views and you use it for clips, and like it like kind of can feed into that system. I just don't really have that system in place well enough to make that worth burning all my shit. You know, like I like a lot of these jokes a lot, and almost all of them. And I wanted to make sure that if I was going to send them off into the night, I wanted to try to give them the best home possible. So I'm shooting for the stars there. I'm hoping that it ends up somewhere sick. So yeah, we did that. And you kind of like mentioned like, yeah, full scale production. You know what I mean? Like million cameras, like type of thing. And I was also wondering if that would be like surprising to some people, because I'm sure they just hear, okay. And even if whether or not they think I'm capable of like putting on something like that, I still think people just don't know what goes into shooting a comedy special. It seems straightforward. And while it is, you still have to sort of like set up and curate the room in a way, and then make it's not like built into the venue. You have to build it from scratch every time. Mm-hmm. So another thing that's interesting, Ryan, we rebuilt the whole stage. Like not rebuilt, but like we completely redecorated the room. So like, did I show you the picture of what that place normally looks like?
No.
I want to show you because you're going to be like, oh shit, that's wild. This is what it normally looks like.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. So, oh, wow.
Yeah. So different.
Yeah. We'll throw the pictures up, and I don't know if you have a picture of what it was
Don't
like.
throw up. I don't want to show up what it looks like now because I don't want to give anybody ideas. I know a lot of people shoot there.
But, interesting. Yeah. You guys did a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So we changed a lot. And no, so any of like the stuff where, you know, I was able to save money doing certain things, like the co-director made suggestions. He's like, well, we should spend more money on set design. Then we should do this. We should do that. We got like a techno jib, which is like basically like a crane camera that sort of like glides and moves, which was like a sick thing to add. So there's a lot of like cool technical aspects. From an execution standpoint, it was crazy to get up there and have to do it. Naturally, there's some nerves that come along with that. And surprisingly, like I would say from a delivery of the specific joke standpoint, the first like 20 minutes of show 1, I said the jokes better. Show 2 was just so much better that it didn't even matter. And maybe I would only notice, but that kind of stuff matters because when you're cutting the two shows together, which is how we're doing it in this situation, it's kind of like a conventional way to do it. You film 2 shows, you take the best pieces from each one, you wear the same shit, whatever. So I've been watching back this morning to try to send off notes, and it's interesting to see where I like nailed it versus where I didn't. You'd think that you'd like dust the cobwebs off on the first show and then be loose on the second show. In a way, it was like a little bit of the opposite for me for some reason. And I don't know why that is. Like sometimes I'm like sort of a roll on rehearsal guy if you're like doing an audition, because I'll somehow do it really well the first time and then fuck it up 10 straight times after that. So maybe it was a little bit of that, if that makes sense.
What does roll on rehearsal
It means
mean?
record on the rehearsal. So like, let's practice it once and then we'll do it. Sometimes when I do the practice it once, it'll actually be better than some of the other ones. So there was a bit of that, but I think maybe also the pressure of knowing that there's only one more shot to do it. When I finished the first show was very, very good, but I wanted it to feel the way the second show did, if that makes sense. And you were there for it. So, you know, like that was like a pinnacle performance. It's like, you want to have the best show you've ever had the day you do your special. And it kind of felt that way, which I'm really grateful for. And thank you to everybody who came. It was really dope. And, so there's that. And it was just interesting navigating the specifics of those two things.
So after you walked off the stage doing the first show, did you feel like a weight was lifted off your shoulder, or did that intensify as you were trying to improve upon what was already a great set?
So, yeah. So maybe the latter as far as like the intensifying of the pressure, because while the show was very, very good, it was a very good show. Like if I had just been on the road and did that show, I would have been like, it was amazing. But for the special, you want it to be the next level up. Okay, so I'm like, all right, this next show, I need to like really fucking rip it. Like I want it to be a special show. Like I want it to feel like the special. I've been doing all this. It should be like a culmination of all of the effort, and it should be everything said the best way I've ever said it, et cetera, et cetera. So going into that, there was a little bit of pressure. I was getting feedback in between the shows that maybe I didn't even want or need some of the time. I was like, okay, that's like not that helpful, whatever. And then in my head, I'm like, should I be listening to that? Should I not be listening to that? And there was like a solid amount of time between the two shows, but it just was what it was. I was able to be present enough that I was just kind of like, we just have to go do it and that's it. Like there's no reason to think beyond it. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. Second show was amazing. Great. So there's a couple of fun things. I got there on Wednesday. We're shooting Friday, right? I wanted to get there early. I went on some Barstool shows. Shout out to Nick and KB, the Yak. I went on Chef Donnie's show and had a great time. So I was doing some press. I wanted to like get those final couple of tickets sold. Both shows were sold out. It was amazing. So thank you guys for letting me come on the show and all that stuff. So I'm doing all this and I start getting nervous because I did my show at Union Hall on Tuesday late and then I had a 7 a.m. flight. When I do shit like that, I can get worn down and I tend to like get sick sometimes. I'll get a sinus infection or I'll just like get sick. And I was like, I don't want to be sick when I fucking shoot my special. So I started thinking about it so intensely that I started to actually feel sick. I was like being a hypochondriac. And it's unclear to me at all if it was just like, I'm tired and that's it. And that's why I feel this way. Or if like I was a little sick or whatever. The day it came, I was completely fine, ready to go. But the day before I was like feeling a little bit sick, which gave me a lot of anxiety. So then I went to see Alex Edelman's one-man show, which is called Just For Us. Great show. It was awesome. It's at the Steppenwolf Theater. And I'm glad I did. When you go see like a good show the night before you do something, it can like tap into some of your creative reflexes and like you can come up with shit. And I came up with a couple things that I'd never done before that I was like, I'm doing this in the special. One of them like really rounded out one of the bits. And the other one is just something that was like funny that I've never done. I was like, I should throw it in. So the more complicated one I tried on the first show, and it was basically like rounding out the end of my Afghanistan section. And I thought it was like a clever little twist. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody for when you actually hear it, but no one else has heard it if you weren't at either of these shows. And it was fun because I got to work on it the first show and then I perfected it on the second show, which was a really cool feeling and a fun thing to experience. And then the other thing that I just came up with also worked really, really well on the show. So that's all really cool. And just like long, surreal, fun weekend. And then you go, you tape, great. And then from there, the whole weekend just turned into a big fucking celebration. Mm-hmm. We were downstairs for a bit afterwards, which, bro, you should have just come back there. You're such a sweetheart.
I didn't know where to go.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't checking my phone at all. And like a bunch of people came backstage. I wanted Lynch to be there too, but kind of got lost in the shuffle. That's my fault.
That's all good. I saw you after.
We saw you after. Then we had a big after party, which was so fucking fun. Victoria was throwing you under the bus, bro. I don't know if you know this.
With what?
She's like, I was over there talking to Lynch just now. Love that she's calling you Lynch.
She said that?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yep. Huh? I'm talking to Lynch over there. And she goes, he's drinking a Negroni. And I said, do you even like this? He goes, not really. I'm just doing it for the brand.
Oh, yeah. Cat's out of the bag, dude.
Drunken Lynch busted.
Yeah. I had like 5 or 6 Mezcal Negronis.
Nice, dude.
It's the brand. I mean, I met you and Francis. You guys were raving about it. And I was like, well, I never had one at this point in time. I need to have one.
I respect it.
It's gross, dude.
Dude, yeah. Listen, as you get a little older, you'll start to appreciate them.
But I kept drinking them. Yeah.
Good for you.
And I still will. I will.
Respect the commitment to the bit.
There were Oops fans there, and they were like, "Oh, Negroni," and I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna keep doing it for you.
Dude,
for all of you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Julia.
Yes, Ryan.
Yesterday was laundry day for me, and I was running low on my bottom layer of clothing to put on my bum.
One of these, you mean?
Yeah.
Something just like that.
But I didn't have a pair of MeUndies at the bottom.
MeUndies
of the
boxer
basket.
briefs?
No, I had that crumbly, crusty old pair of loose boxers from college.
Oh, God.
My laundry day pair.
That you always keep as a hedge just in case you have none left.
When I see that one, that's when I know you better do laundry or else you're going to be a real sad man. I put them on and Victoria walked into the room and she saw me wearing those. And she said, Ryan, we just got MeUndies in the mail. You better go and open them up and put those on right now before I leave you forever.
Let's go. And you threw them on and dude, they are just so soft and delightful. Like even just touching them remind me of how comfortable I can feel when I'm wearing them.
Yeah.
Like when I have fresh MeUndies, that is always the pair that I go to first. I'm looking to take every other brand of underwear out of the rotation and replace it permanently with MeUndies.
It's funny you say, yeah, like you're going through all your boxers, and as I'm adding more MeUndies to the library, I'm like going through the Rolodex of clean underwear, and I'm sifting through the pairs that I don't like as much because MeUndies is always first pick,
Yes,
second
100%.
pick, third pick, and hopefully every pick.
Easy peasy. They have the style for you, no matter what your preferences are as far as your underwear go. MeUndies has got you covered. We also recommend trying out the contoured ball pouch and caddy, which will make you look more impressive than you typically do, or give you a showcase for what you're already packing that could be impressive in its own right. Either way, this will put you on display the way that you want to be put on display. And this is what we all want in life, Ryan. We just want to look good and feel good. So during this season, good things come to people in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off of your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast. That's MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. So yeah, some thanks to everybody who made the trip. I know there's some really solid Oops people who made long journeys to come pull up. Greatly appreciated. My family was there. Hill's family was there. Friends were there. It was so dope. And then the whole weekend just turned into a banger. So that party happened. And then Hillary, they had a brunch at their house the next day. A bunch of people came too. I think you guys were already heading back at that point. Were you?
No, we stayed. We talked to Hillary about it. We had some plans
You had
with
plans.
friends.
Great.
Yeah.
So you guys had plans. And then we did that. We had a big dinner that night. And then the next day, same thing. I was able to play a little bit of tennis, actually with the guy who's friends with Francis, who's very, very good. And yeah, it was humbling for me for sure to play with him.
Nice.
This guy was
Was it
fucking
Abba?
nice. It was Abba.
Yeah.
And then that night had another big dinner. And then it was Julie's birthday, Ricky's wife. And so it was just a full weekend of fun. And it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Chicago's beautiful.
Chicago rips.
We walked all the way around on Saturday, and the architecture, like New York buildings are like, it's just like one big building because all the buildings are just building-y.
Building.
But in Chicago, as Victoria said, each building is like its own building. But actually, we walked on the Riverwalk. It was a beautiful time.
Yeah, it's cool how
Yeah.
they have like the water taxis and how like the little inlet or whatever it is. I don't know if it's a river or whatever it is, but that like comes from the lake and goes in. Like it's just very uniquely designed, and it's a fun, cool city.
Yeah.
Very livable city.
Yeah. What time did you get home on Friday or back to your hotel?
Late, and I went to bed super late. I went to bed at like 5.
Yeah.
What about you?
We got back, probably went to bed around 3. I got lost.
Really?
I ran away from the hotel for a little bit
Why?
to get some food. Victoria was insistent that we would do Uber Eats because there was a McDonald's right by our hotel. And I don't always eat McDonald's, but
You'll hit a late night
I
McDonald's?
was excited about it.
Yeah.
We walked by before we left, and we're like, I hope that we end up there tonight. It's 500 feet away from our hotel. I was gone for like 45 minutes. And
What happened?
I was, kind of the gray line between brown and blacked out.
Did you go out the wrong way?
I think I walked past the hotel, but
I got it.
like I genuinely got lost. I wasn't looking at my phone. That was dangerous decision making. But I got back to the hotel after I got my food, and I'm sitting at our desk, and between the bed and the desk, there's a wall with the TV and some dressers on it. So Victoria's laying in bed, and she can't see me at the desk, but she knows that I'm preparing my food. And then I'm just, 20 minutes go by.
Was she eating too?
No, she was in bed, and 20 minutes go by of just kind of just like silence. And she's like, right, are you going to go to bed? And I was like, yep, all right. And then I curled into a little ball in the bed, and then I woke up, and then I went back to the desk. I didn't touch.
You're not sure what you were doing?
No.
Do you remember, or were you like a little too
A little too.
saucy?
Little too saucy. And all the
could have
food was
happened?
just right there. I don't know. I didn't have any of the pizza. So I think my stomach
Oh,
was a little
same,
light.
dude.
Yeah.
I should have because
I should have as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really too
Really
good.
silly night. It was fun to bump into a couple of the Barstool guys. I was talking to Connor Mook for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard he has to go to Australia.
He has to go to Perth
Insane, dude. I'd jump off
for
a bridge.
for like half a day, and they booked him like a pretty tough flight. I don't know if this is like the preferred route, but he has 2 connections, and then
Yeah.
he's only gets to be there for 18 hours or something.
Yeah.
Do it for the bit, dude. Do
Yeah,
it for the bit, Mook.
But yeah, great. It was a great time catching up and chatting up with a ton of people at the after party. It did feel like kind of like a wedding reception.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun, man. Like what a special special weekend, man. And I hope that, that final cut of the special is just absolutely killer and that everybody loves it, because I think there's some good shit in there for sure. I'm happy with the way it all looks. I'm happy with the way that I looked. Hill Dog styled me nicely too.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of like, I have no regrets about where we're at so far in the process. So
Yeah. I thought after seeing your set maybe 3 or 4 times in total, I thought you were really silly in
really?
the tape in the show that I saw, and I thought it was the best.
You thought
It was
that
the
worked?
best.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I thought it was great. I'm really excited for everyone else to see it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, it was fun to also to kind of like hear some of the moments that are supposed to get that. Naturally, you never can predict how every single thing is going to go throughout an entire show. So, it wasn't perfect, but it was very validating to hear like any of the little sort of buttons or tie-ins or things work, you know what I mean? And see it land on people and them appreciate it, and then get to see those stakes sort of like deliver, you know? Oh, so Big G came to town, and dude, my parents, Big G makes some like very questionable decisions when it comes to like travel itinerary stuff. Like he'll just end up on the wackiest flight for some reason. Like they went to Ireland, and for whatever reason, their flight from Connecticut connected in Chicago. So they flew to Chicago to then fly to Ireland. I'm like, you're defeating the purpose of going to a convenient international destination by flying 2 hours in the other direction and then going back.
Did they save a lot of money in doing so?
Maybe, but like, I highly doubt it. But who knows? Maybe they did.
That's what would make it whack.
Agreed. So, no, but then another time they went to Colorado, or they were going to Wyoming, right? Because my uncle lives there, first of all. But secondly, because they wanted to go see Yellowstone, whatever, and they were going to do a little road trip. They took the craziest flight I've ever heard of. They had like 2 connections. It was still super expensive. And I was like, guys, you can just fly directly to Denver. And, there's so many ways to make it not complicated. So anyway, I've now tried to intervene to make sure that they don't do this. So Chicago coming up, right? There's a bunch of flights from Hartford to Chicago, apparently. They chose not to do that. Okay, fine. They're going to fly to LaGuardia. Okay, fine. They don't live close to LaGuardia. They're at least 2.5 hours away from LaGuardia. If there's absolutely no traffic whatsoever, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes. But it's not close, okay? They had a morning flight, and my dad refuses to park at LaGuardia. So it now turns into this like insane adventure where I'm like, Dad, just get a hotel the night before at the airport. And I get a good rate too. I got him like an insane rate at a hotel at LaGuardia the night before the flight. Be a normal person, dude. Go. You'll wake up rested and you'll have like a normal weekend. Nope. Refuses to do that. They leave their house at 3:30 in the morning to make it to their flight, dude. That's a crazy thing to do. And then they park at some random lot that requires a shuttle, like that whole thing, right? And I'm like, dude, why are you doing this to yourself? And it ended up being fine, but like, and they had a great weekend, like no problems. So I guess Big G had the last laugh there maybe. But like, why do that to yourself?
Well, what did he say when you asked him why?
He's like, I was like, dude, $68 a night for the hotel right at LaGuardia, and like a perfectly nice hotel. And he's like, what about parking? I'm like, it's $30 for the night. He's like, no. I'm like,
That's
dude,
under $100.
dude, come on. I was like, I'll pay for it, guys. And they're like, no, like, it's not the point. I'm like, okay, fine. Good luck.
I mean, the patience that someone must possess to be able to just like wake up at 3:30 and
Dude.
Do they take an Uber?
What do you?
Oh no! They parked at like a parking spot type thing.
It's too far to Uber. They Ubered in Chicago though.
Yeah,
and they got pretty good at it. But everybody in my family who flew in, who isn't used to using Ubers, was tipping on top of the Uber. And I'm like, guys, that's like not common to do. Like the Uber is just what it is. You don't typically tip on top of it. You can, but people don't. Do you?
We do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Am I just a piece of shit?
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about tipping last week.
You guys tip on Ubers.
We've started to. Now, we didn't always, but we've recently started tipping.
Why?
On
What
Uber.
happened?
I don't know. Just you see you see some TikToks, you hear someone's personal story.
What does the TikTok say?
It's just someone talking about how much money they're not getting paid for the fare from Uber.
Interesting.
So then, it's your civic duty to contribute and help them out. Now,
Do you guys tip Ubers? Let us know, because to me, I've never met anybody who did, but now suddenly everybody I know does. So maybe I need to start tipping in Ubers. I just thought it was not customary.
Yeah, we just started. And though we're doing it, I mean, it's not fun because it's already so expensive, but it's not the Uber driver's fault.
Yeah.
We started doing that. But no, that's a good thing that they tipped.
Okay, well, that's good, guys. Good job for doing that, fam. But dude, like when we used to travel when we were younger, we go to Italy. Like it was just kind of inconvenient. A lot of the time we would drive to New Haven or something and then take like a shuttle. So it was like traveling used to be just more complicated in general in the 90s, I think. And obviously in some ways it wasn't. Like there's security was like barely there. But just like flying has become a much more streamlined thing that everybody does. There's been a travel boom. So I think my dad is lucky that my mom isn't like an avid flyer, because I don't know if she would have tolerated this scenario.
She thinks it's normal.
He's just like, this is what we're doing. And she's like, okay, that must make sense then. And I kind of brought the idea up to her, but his school of thought ended up prevailing. Mm-hmm. And look, they came, they had fun. They came to the after party. It's not like they were like dead or anything. They fully enjoyed the weekend. So I guess Big G gets lucky on this one. And ultimately it all worked out, but it was stressing me out.
Yeah. Were you stressed managing all these different parties and groups and family members that were coming in, while also, trying to put that in, compartmentalize that while you can focus on the show?
Good question. Zach, who's like my manager, was dealing with that for me. And I didn't want to make it seem like I was big timing my friends and family, being like, contact Zach.
Of course not.
But like literally, yeah, to your point, I have like shit I'm dealing with here. Like I like questions about your hotels, questions about this, like just ask Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Giulio's big day.
My big boy day. So yeah, man, all worked out, all solid. He said it for you guys all to see it. Special weekend. And for sure, when I walked off the stage after the second show, it was definitely one of the best feelings of my life.
Yeah.
It was just the energy was so electric. It was so fun.
Do you get like good daps from like Ricky and from Zach and stuff?
Yeah, when I got off stage,
the hugs were big.
Any of the backstage people were like very psyched for me about the second show. It was definitely like a kill and just a solid show.
That's great, bro.
For sure, man.
A lot of hugs and squeezes.
A lot of good hugging.
What was the first physical contact that you got?
I think when I got off stage, it might have been Ricky. He was standing right there. It was either Ricky or Hillary. They were both standing right behind the curtain. So it was nice to get to see them. My agent sent some gifts. We were having some drinks downstairs before we all headed off to the bar, and it was fun, man.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad we were there.
W's all around. I appreciate you making the trip.
Of course.
Dude, if you know your pouches, you know that the nicotine doesn't hit immediately.
I know.
We know it's a thing. And that's why the geniuses at Lucy have come up with Lucy Breakers. They have put a mini liquid capsule inside each breaker that you pop, and then you get to feel it quicker, and it feels really nice too. The whole process of just kind of popping it, tucking it, you pop and lock it.
Pop, lock, and
drop it.
You don't want to drop it because then you'll have to you'll waste one.
Do not drop it.
But yeah, if you love the breakers, welcome to the oral fixation station, because the way they pop is fantastic.
It rules, man. And if you're a person who sits and has to focus on tasks all day long, and you need something to kind of help get you through it, in my opinion, nothing like throwing a nice pouch in. And that's why Lucy Breakers has got you covered in that department for all of your pouch needs. Lucy is truly upping the nicotine pouch game with Breakers. They are pouches packing a little something extra inside, Ryan.
Something to pop.
So break up your dusty gas station pouches and go to lucy.co/oops and use promo code oops to get 20% off of your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code oops to get 20% off and always free shipping.
And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. You want to do an email?
Let's do it.
Okay. Guys, we got a really fun email, but I have to read it.
So Lynch, you're a fucking dog, because I had already read this email, and he goes, there's an email, don't read it. And I'm like, were you really about to fucking blindside me with this email, you dirty, dirty dog? So I did read it, but this is a very interesting one.
Wait, you read it before I asked if you read it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have read it if
I know. That's what I thought
had
that you
said that.
potentially did, and that would have been like, why'd you do it? I just told you not to. So this email is called Stolen Red Sox Hat. Hey, G and Ryan, love the pod. I drive a few hours each day for work, so it's nice to pass the time listening to you guys. I have a few laughs, and I also analyze some pretty thoughtful topics. Recently, the topic of losing sentimental items came up, more specifically, when someone else is responsible for losing or even stealing something of yours. What kind of knucklehead would do such a thing? It reminded me of when I was in 10th grade. I was a new kid in school, having recently moved from Mass to Connecticut. I wasn't very outgoing, so navigating the stresses and pitfalls of high school social life was a challenge, but I was getting by. I always wore hats to kind of hide my eyes and had this one really special hat that my dad bought me a couple years ago prior to the 1999 MLB All-Star Game at Fenway Park. It was uniquely colored. No one I knew had another one like it, and it was a memento of one of the most joyous and electric nights out in Boston with my father. Shout out Pedro Martinez, striking out 5 in 2 innings on his way to MVP honors, and the belligerent guys celebrating on the T ride back home, who foreshadowed what my college years would later become. Anyway, I digress. I wore this hat. Well, let me just mention, a lot of people say I digress in the emails because they send us really detailed, fun ones, and you don't need to digress.
Yeah,
Anyway, I digress. I wore this hat every single day to school. It was part of me and was irreplaceable. But in some classes, we were required to remove our hats and place them under our desks. In one such class, we had a fire drill. Fire drills were great. They meant an impromptu break from learning to go outside and shoot the shit for 15 to 20 minutes. But once we returned to class, lo and behold, my hat was gone from underneath my desk. I asked, all caps, everyone if they had seen it, looked everywhere I could think, even accused a few people of stealing it to see if they would break and admit it. Nothing. The hat was gone, and I would never see it again. I might still have trust issues and developed OCD where I meticulously keep track of all of my belongings and borderline break down if I misplace something. That day changed me. So my question to you guys is this. What do you have to say for yourself, Giulio? And how dare you? What a twist this is, guys. You see, it wasn't until about a decade later when I went to see my old pal from high school perform a stand-up show in New York City that I finally found out what happened. Giulio, on stage during his act no less, admitted that he was the one who stole my hat and he just threw it away.
Bro, okay. First of all, I need to interject here because this is just so aggressive. And bro, I do. Okay. This is what I remember from the situation. I remember stealing the hat, but not to like keep it. I took it like to fuck around. You know, this guy, I know exactly what it is. We're old pals, consider him a friend. You know, and as time went on, we became even better friends. I was in no way like picking on him in general. I don't recall throwing this hat away, bro. I don't know if I said it during the show to try to be funny. I sincerely do not remember throwing this guy's hat away. If I did, dude, I'm not a monster. I swear to God. What else does he say here?
I can paraphrase. Essentially, he says that he forgives you. And
can you say specifically the part where he says he forgives me, since we just were in such specific detail about this scathing?
At this point, we have a few more paragraphs then.
Okay, then let's do it.
Okay, so
all right, so want to let me do it?
Yeah, you want to read from here?
Let me do it.
It's the threw the hat away exclamation point.
Now that we have unlocked the
plot twist,
the twist here. Thank you very much, Lynch.
We're going to look up how much money the hat is, too, so you can replace it for him.
And I love knowing that you were planning to let me go into that blind, which would have been really funny, actually, in retrospect. I'm sorry that I happened to read it.
That's okay.
Okay, so after who stole my hat and just threw it away. I guess because he was more a Yankees fan and disliked the Red Sox. Not true. This is me saying not true. Or just some mindless high school hijinks type stuff. If I did that, maybe, I don't even know, dude. Or maybe he was playing the long con and knew that someday it would get him some cheap laughs on stage at my expense. Did not know I was going to be a comedian yet, so absolutely not. He said, I laughed too and cried a little inside when I said it on stage. Anyway, I forgave you long ago, G. And by the way, I obviously, whatever I was saying, I was only saying because he was there. It's not like I was on stage being like, you know what? I stole some fucking guy's hat and I threw it away. There's no way I was doing that. So I was specifically talking to him, and I wish I remembered what happened. Anyway, he goes, anyway, I forgave you long ago, G, mostly because we did become friends later in high school. So I know you as the fun, long, friendly, well-meaning person that you are. Thank you. Ryan, the fact that you were intending to paraphrase that, you dirty dog. We need all this. We need to bring back my reputation from
That's
the
an
dirt.
irreversible offense.
Well-meaning person that you are, and not the godforsaken absolute butterball of a turkey you were on that one day in Dupuy's sophomore history class. You introduced me to Wu-Tang, and I have some fond memories of us driving around Higginham, smoking some ganj, and chatting up chicks, but never getting lucky. Good luck with the special. Love the content. Keep on keeping on, guys. By the way, we also saw 9/11 happen in that class together.
Really?
Yeah. They wheeled a TV in Mr. Dupuy's sophomore history class. So anyway, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I don't recall throwing this hat out.
So why did you take it?
To fuck around?
Is that something that you typically did?
No. Well, okay. Like maybe at some point in my life, I liked a good prank, but it never ended in like a mean thing like that. So I can't figure out why I would have done that, bro. If I did, dude, I'm sorry. That's so fucked up. To the point where I was like wondering whether or not we should even actually talk about this on the podcast because of how bad of a picture it paints. This poor guy, bro. He moved to the school. He was shy and, just trying to fit in, and he did a good job. He was ended up being like a pretty popular guy, and people liked him a lot. He had a good group of friends, like a solid group of friends. And the idea that here he is trying to fit in, and suddenly I'm just throwing his hat in the garbage. I texted him about it, bro. Let me see what this text. I don't know. We might have to get him on here, dude, to talk about this because it's so fucked up.
Yeah. This hat is hard to find.
I know. He goes, the memories are more valuable than a hat. Like, he never truly let me off the hook. We're texting. He goes, I don't blame you for not remembering it was 22 years ago. And the comedy show where you finally admitted it was pretty early on in your comedy days. I was just relieved to finally find out what happened to that hat more than anything. It's wild that he was just sitting there wondering about this, like, treasured hat I just apparently threw in the garbage, dude.
Yeah. So he went to the show not knowing that you had anything to do with taking the hat, correct?
I think he suspected me, if I recall. If I recall, he thought it was me, and I denied it. I think I did initially take the hat. I do not remember throwing it in the garbage. That's such a crazy thing to do, dude. It's just not me. Now, I'm willing to admit that there's a chance that I did, and I'm wondering what the specifics were that led to that. So if there's anybody listening who went to high school with me who remembers this moment and you want to add anything, that would be very helpful.
Sometimes you kind of black out and just have a lapse of judgment and do something
bro.
really out of character.
No,
or as he would say, a butterball move.
No, you don't. Like, that is not the person that I am. That is not what I typically do. Again, I'm not saying I didn't do it.
I'm defending you.
I appreciate it. I'm not denying it, but I don't think that that's a good defense. The idea that sometimes people just black out and do. I don't.
You think that's a bad excuse?
Yeah, it's not. It's still me. If I did that, I still did it.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out why and how you, of all people, would do something like that or could do something like that.
There is a chance. I will say this, dude, and I don't want to say the guy's name because I don't want to do that without asking him if I can say his name. However, there is a chance that I just said that during the show. Now, he might have a follow-up and be like, we already covered this. I asked you if you were just kidding. You said, no, dude, actually, in reality, I did do that. I don't know what I was thinking. I want to know more. So, guys, before you pass judgment on me and before, this you're disgusted with me as a person, just know that we need to still understand the full story. We need to retrace our steps a bit.
Okay. So maybe we'll get some more information from our friend.
We got to get some more information from our friend. And I'm sorry, bro, is all I can say. If I did that, all right, let's say I didn't throw it out, but somehow I was responsible for it never resurfacing. I'm very sorry for that too. I'm sorry. No matter what happened, if I somehow participated in you not having this treasured item anymore, I am very sorry.
That's up. At least you apologized. Like, an apology goes a long way.
Bro, that's so crazy. Like, I can't believe that.
I'm glad he emailed out. The guy that stole my sweatshirt never apologized. So what you did is already more.
He never apologized?
He said you got to get a new sweatshirt. This guy just doesn't get it. The guy just didn't get it. And that's why he is who he is.
I forgot that's how we got here. The guy who took the sweatshirt when he was hanging out with the chick.
He's like, "Oh, I lost your sweatshirt, or your sweatshirt's gone." So it's, taking ownership. That was a great email.
The fuck?
I don't know. Do you get in trouble in high school?
Like
Mischievous
a little,
stuff?
but not really. Like mostly just for talking too much during class.
Yeah.
Like never anything like too bad, but a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit here and there.
A little bit of thievery.
A little bit.
There was a guy, as we transition off of this story, I just want to share, there was a guy that lived across the hall from me sophomore year, and he was a kleptomaniac.
You're going to say necrophilia?
He loved to fuck dead people. He loved stealing things. And there's a brand, Smathers and Branson. They do needle stitch belts and hats and flasks. And at the Quinnipiac Bobcat bookstore, my pal, he had a little side hustle where you would pay him $50 and he would steal a $250 Smathers and Branson branded flask, custom made for Quinnipiac. And he loved it. He did it for sport. And he would go in there and he would steal stuff. And
did you ever?
I didn't. I thought about it. I told Victoria, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get one. And she was like, you're not going to do
Good for
that."
her.
And so she helped keep me clean. But
I would have done it.
One of my best friends did it. And after Victoria said that to me, I was like, "Dude, you shouldn't do stuff like that."
Oh wow.
That's not right.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Did he get caught?
never got caught.
Wow.
He never got caught. So now he's out there, always looking for the next high. So
who knows what kind of
he'll get caught
stuff.
fucking a dead body one of these days. Necrophilia. That's when you fuck a body.
That's a solid Freudian slip there, dude.
As somebody that is actively trying to gain weight and combine that with our busy lives where we're always on the move and running around, it's not really the best combination when you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
So on days that we record, I will rush to make a meal before heading out. And sometimes I just leave without even making lunch because I'm like, it's not even worth it. Or I'll just grab a little snack, or I'll grab a carrot. And that does not help you achieve your goals. And it's just because making a good, nutritious meal typically takes way too much time.
It takes a long
Time that most of us don't have.
Right.
And so we partnered up with Factor. I had one of their meals. It's quick, it's easy, and it's nutritious. It's helping me make my gains and having lunch before we record.
Ryan,
it's just
you shouldn't
awesome.
be eating carrots before we record. You're not a bunny.
No.
You should be eating protein. You need protein, and Factor's got you covered. You can set your preferences with what sort of meals that you want. They're quick. They're easy. There's a great variety, all sorts of different cuisines of chef-created meals that are ready in 2 minutes so that you can keep going with your day and get your stuff done. Because for me, I have the opposite problem. As a person who's trying not to gain weight, if I don't have my meals pre-planned for me, sometimes I can get out of control and I get too hungry and to make bad decisions. So it's nice to have my meals prepared and ready and waiting for me. And that's why Factor works for me. So head to factormeals.com/oops50 and use code oops50 to get 50% off. That's code oops50 at factormeals.com/oops50 to get 50% off. We had a good scam in high school too. You actually might know this place because it's not that far from where you went to school. You remember the outlet store? So there was an outlet. There was a bunch of outlets. I don't want to get into too much detail just in case there's a chance that this guy could still get busted for this. But in one of the
I've been here before.
In one of the more sort of high profile stores there, in that it was stuff that we all wore. It was like clothes that everybody wore. A lot of the stuff in these outlet stores, it was a little out of our sort of comfort zone, in that even if there was sick shit there, we didn't know anybody who wore it. Like we didn't live in a fancy town. So nobody was like wearing fancy shit. So if there were fancy items, it was going above our head. So this brand was more within our range. And there was a guy who worked there and he had the craziest scam going. I may have talked about this on the pod at some point in the past, but this was the scam. Basically, you'd fill up a giant shopping bag with whatever you wanted in the store. Dude, you could take thousands of dollars of shit if you could fit it. And some people went harder when they did it. And I participated. A lot of people participated in this. I'm not proud of it. And also, this is not helping my character building exercise now that we've just sort of completely fucking, what's the word? Slandered my persona. But everybody was participating in this scam. So you fill your bag up with as much shit as you wanted. Then you go to the counter and the guy who was sort of the mastermind of the scam was at the counter. So he'd ring up every single one of your things and then he would delete it all and only charge you for the least expensive item. So on the cameras, it looked as if everything was normal. Right? So now you end up paying $10 for socks. But you have 2 giant bags of shit. So now the reason why 2 giant bags of shit didn't necessarily work and 1 bag was the more likely way to go was because he filled his own bag of shit. And that was the exchange. You got to take whatever you wanted, but then you took his stuff with you and brought it to his car. His car keys were at the bottom of his bag. You'd open his car, put his shit in it.
This is so elaborate.
Dude, so elaborate. And then, you know, you'd put the stuff in his car, you'd leave his keys on the seat or bring him back to him or something. I forget. Probably not bring it back to him because that was like too incriminating. And then you get all this shit. And everybody at our school just had so much shit. My dad eventually like sniffed it out and like thought it was funny, but also was like, this is bad, son. You know what I mean? But guys, I swear I was not a bad kid in high school. I don't feel bad about that shit at all. I feel bad about the hat thing if in fact I were to have done it.
Yeah.
I'm still not completely convinced that I actually did that, but I want to hear more from him. But anyway.
We need more details.
So that was a pretty good scam. And now that guy's grown up to be a completely reputable member of society. He's a good dude. He's a family. He's doing well. Teens fuck around, dude.
Yeah.
Makes me scared of having kids.
Yeah. Just being at the wrong place, wrong time.
Doing some stupid shit and permanently paying the price.
Yeah. So he never got caught?
Nope. So want to know how he did get caught? He got caught like giving like someone a belt for free and he just got fired. If they had caught him from what he was actually doing, he would have gone to like military school or something or juvie.
He just got fired?
Yep.
Nice.
For a belt.
Damn.
I think the belt was like $20.
Yeah.
Thousands of merch.
So when was this? Like the mid 2000s, late 2000s?
This must have been 2003.
Oh yeah. So I feel like the security camera, like that, what you guys did was perfect.
But yeah, I wonder like
computers.
how the inventory, like maybe he was the one doing inventory too. Like maybe he was the manager. He's a smart guy. So maybe he like was clearing himself on the back end too with the inventory.
It's genius.
I'm curious about that.
And how did you find out about this? How'd you get involved? Or
He was just
hear
our
about
boy
it?
from high school.
Oh, and he was just like, hey, got this situation.
Yeah, anybody who knows him is laughing right now. He had a couple funny nicknames too. I'm not willing to throw him under the bus like that because I don't want to smear his character because he's probably, I don't know what he does, but I know he has an important job. And showing that I am indeed a good guy, even though I've proven otherwise.
You have some redeemable qualities.
I have some skeletons.
A former necrophiliac. I got my results for my 23andMe.
Can I guess?
Yes. Hold on one sec. Let me pull it up. So I am an accumulation of a.
Don't tell
No.
Okay.
But just to preface, there's like 3 standout high percentages of my makeup, and then there's a bunch of like 1%.
Yeah.
So we don't need to get into that because that's very broad and vague. But yes, you can guess.
All right. I'm just going to guess Northern European, like English, Irish, or like Scottish, Irish, German. That's my guesses.
Okay. So I am 73% Northwestern European.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm 65% British and Irish.
Okay.
1.7% French and German.
Okay.
I'm also just under 20% Southern European.
Interesting.
So I'm 19.5% Italian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, but that doesn't surprise me because my brother looks just like me. My older sister looks nothing like me. She has dark skin and black hair.
Wow.
And I think she gets that from my mother.
Cool.
And then I am 2.7% Jewish.
Okay.
And then
What kind?
Ashkenazi.
Yep.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
I pronounced
Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi. And then I am 1.7% Nigerian.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
So it was cool. It took several weeks to get the results, but it's just kind of nice to
Feel fulfilled?
have an idea. Yeah, I'm going to point out for my mom to not listen to this episode because my mother was adopted, which is what led my curiosity into finding out
and she doesn't
my
wanna know.
makeup. And my mom has such a great relationship with her parents that adopted her that she would feel that it is a sign of
I respect that.
Oh yeah.
I respect that a lot.
Let me put a pin in that for a sec because there's something interesting there. She loves her parents so much that she would view it as like a sign of disrespect or betrayal.
Yeah, she doesn't want to diminish their sacrifice as parents.
Exactly, because they're fantastic and they're both, knock on wood, they're still around and we're very, very close and they're my grandparents. That's just how it be.
That's great. That's really nice.
It's interesting when people find out that she was adopted, how hard they push on asking why she's not curious where she came from.
Interesting.
So she'll give the, hey, I love my situation. I don't need to know. And then people will double down and be like, why wouldn't you want to know? And then she explains, one more time, very
And
politely.
she's like, are you adopted?
One more time why she doesn't want to know. And people still don't get the message. And I feel bad because, she's very, very nice.
That's
and it puts her in an
obnoxious.
uncomfortable position because they just push and push and they just don't. It's the same thing. Like, what do you mean you didn't see Killers of the Flower Moon?
Right.
But you didn't see Killers of the Flower Moon?
Right.
Like, that's the kind of energy that, on the second or third ask, she feels. So,
Oh, wow. So you're going to make sure she knows not to listen to this, right?
yeah.
Also, what's funny, though? Like, that is a broad enough sort of association that there is some sort of chance that she would just be the same, like, as what you just listed.
Yeah. Yeah.
To some degree.
It is.
I mean, like, the 1 or 2% African is like, and then when this started coming out, that was a joke. Everybody's like, I'm black. But like most people have, not most people, but a lot of people have like 1% Jewish, 1% African, whatever in there. And then sort of like the broad strokes. So it's interesting. Very interesting. But I respect that on her part.
Yeah, me too. I think it's super cool. But I did tell her that I took it. And I just asked her.
Have her adopted parents done it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to bring it up to them either. But they're both. I am 90% positive that they're both 100% Italian.
Oh.
So they're my grandmother's maiden name is Naples, and my grandfather's last name is Russo. So like, I think if she were
It's Napoli or literally just Naples?
Naples.
They just like got it.
Or yeah, maybe they switched it
They
when
changed
she
it,
came
yeah.
over. But yeah, if it was if my grandparents were her birth parents, I think she'd be 100% Italian.
Wow.
Yeah, so like
That's
that's like
fascinating.
my family though. Like it's like super
Yeah.
Italian.
I'm
at
pretty
least on
sure
one side.
We did ours and we were like 99% Italian.
Yeah.
I'm like fully Italian.
Wow.
Surprise, fucking surprise.
Yeah, it's cool. I just didn't know. I never knew. When people ask like, "Oh, like what's your makeup?" I used to just say I'm Irish and German. I'm barely German.
Yeah.
And I think
Why'd you think you were?
because my grandmother on my father's side like said you guys are German.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And that's just her. She was just
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
out of her ass.
Yeah, she didn't know.
Yeah. So it was really cool.
Interesting. Yeah, my dad always thought that we were like Jewish, and then we did 23andMe and like found out that we're not.
Yeah.
But he always had this theory. He's like, yeah, like we're Jewish. All right.
Did you tell him?
No, because he's the one who got it. The reason I know is
Oh,
because
he
I know
got
because they did it for themselves.
Interesting.
Okay, dude. Last question that I have for you here. So where did you guys stay in Chicago?
We stayed at the Godfrey Hotel.
Is that part of like an umbrella of hotels?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Can you look? Let's
Yeah.
look it up. I'm just curious because my question is.
Oh,
pretty
is it a
specific.
hotel question?
Yeah. So on the road, I typically stay in sort of a middle of the line hotel brand. I'll usually stay at like a Residence Inn or like a low level Marriott hotel. It's sort of what makes sense given how much money I'm probably going to make. And they're all pretty nice. I like knowing that the standard is fairly high, even for like a lower end property. And I also like knowing that I get incentives for being loyal to a brand. So a lot of the time I'll end up staying at Marriott's, I accrue points, and then we can go places and use the points, etc. It's pretty straightforward. So did you answer the question?
Yeah, so we stayed at a hotel under the Oxford Hotels and Resorts LLC.
Oh, wow. So this is like it was kind of nice.
Yeah, we got a killer rate.
Good for you. That rules. Yeah, that's sick. Okay, so Lynch stayed above this conversation. I stayed somewhere sick in Chicago, by the way, too. I'm not trying to pull a fast one there. I stayed at Soho House. It was sick. Also got a great rate. But and it was a special occasion, right? Typically on the road, I'm staying in a Residence Inn, whatever. Now, sometimes people have asked me, they'll be like, is there a pool? And I'm like, yeah, but like I've never, ever gone in it. And I don't know anybody who does or has, unless it's like a literal child. So my question to everybody, including you, Lynch, if you're at a hotel like that, which is like, I don't know, it's probably a 3-star hotel.
Like a Residence Inn?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right? Probably 2 or 3 star. I don't even know. But unless you're staying at a place that's like nice or like, quote, sick, you know what I mean? Like the place that you just were, or a Soho House, or like, I don't know, the fucking Ritz, you know, something like a sick hotel. If you're not staying there, I have never gone to the pool. I've never thought to. I don't think I ever would. Not because I think it's disgusting. I'm sure it's clean, but like, I can't see any value to doing that. It doesn't seem like a fun place to swim in, and I never have, and I've never seen a single person in it. So have you ever, and do you, and Lynch, do you?
Unless it's like a resort where the intention is to lounge and relax.
Right.
I don't want to spend my time in a dimly lit fluorescent light underground or on the 14th of a 20th floor building pool.
Right. Right. Like if you can't order stuff at the pool, you don't want to be swimming in that pool.
If you walk in there and you just hear the echo of like a radiator and then just silence and echoes, no, I don't want to. And also I'm not a kid. If I had kids,
if you were a kid, you would.
If I was a kid, I'd probably be asking my parents, "Can we go to the pool? Can we go to the pool?" Regardless of where we are. Is it? How old are the people that are asking you if there's a pool?
Bro, adults have asked me this.
I wonder.
Is there a pool?
Yeah, I don't get that. And also, you're in Chicago. It's freezing outside, so like
but say it's indoors.
Yeah, no, that's Turkish.
Yeah,
it's Butterball.
Butterball.
It's Butterball.
Butterball's our new one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that that's a sexy question or like something that defines whether or not the hotel is cool or not.
Yeah.
No, that's a weird question.
Good to know. Let us know if you guys hit the pool when you're staying at the Hilton Garden Inn or the La Quinta or whatever. You know what I mean?
Do you know what was interesting? At our hotel, there was so we got a really good rate. We were really excited about it. And there wasn't a pool, but there was a gym. And so I wanted to get a workout in, whatever. When we checked in, they were like, all right, and there's a daily fee.
The resort fee.
The resort fee.
Bro.
But they called it the urban fee. They called it an urban fee, which I think is just a bullshit way of saying resort fee.
How much is it a day?
$20. Now, with how great of a rate that we got, that $20 like that takes a percentage of the great, like I think we were charged like a little over $100 a night.
That's a good deal.
It was a great deal. And just we got a $20 fee thrown on every single day. They also said that Wi-Fi is part of that fee. And that is a little annoying because one, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. That should be baked into your hotel price. And two, the Wi-Fi sucked. It chopped out a
Was that
ton.
the only, what else did you get for that $20? Because usually, by the way, it's bullshit. Every place that has, the shittier the place that you're at that has a resort fee, the less likely there's value. And even when we went to Miami, bro, I talked about it in the pod a little bit when we went to Miami?
Yeah, you talked about that,
but even when we were in Miami at like a nice hotel in Miami, like they had it and it was $75 a day. And there was some stuff, but it was still like, bro, I'm not going to use any of this. This is bullshit. But yours is sounding like more bullshit.
Yeah, so you had access to, you got Wi-Fi and you had access to the gym. So at least when we were, I mean, obviously we said yes. You got us. We're here.
Yeah.
It's just a hidden fee. that they took off of what was probably the original price of the hotel room before I booked it.
That's some like nicer hotel room shit. Like the Residence Inn don't have no resort fee.
Yeah.
But the place will have a resort fee, and it's fucking bullshit and it's annoying. But as far as the Wi-Fi being baked in, and so like at Marriott properties, shout out to, I'm not trying to fucking give an ad for Marriott, but there's like shitty internet and then there's fast internet. And if you have status, you get the fast internet for free.
Yeah.
Which is sneaky.
That checks. Like I wouldn't just set expectations with us. Let's just, I don't want to be blindsided. I went to the gym because, you know, we paid for it, whether we wanted to go or not.
Would you have gone if you didn't?
I don't know. It was one of those things where I was packing my bag and I was like, should I put in a pair of athletic shorts and like an athletic t-shirt to maybe work out, which I never do, especially on a weekend trip.
Bro.
But I threw it in there. And then once, you know, I had a little bit of time to kill between when I wrapped up work and the show. So I was like, yeah, let me go to the gym. Vic went for a run. So I was like, I need to go to the gym or else I'll feel bad about myself. So I go there. It's a shitty bare minimum gym.
Hate to see it.
And not to complain about stuff, whatever. We had a nice, safe place to stay. But yeah, it was not that was upsetting. We got a water bottle each when we checked in. That was part of the fee. Oh, nice. But it was free. But it's not free because
was there anywhere good to pour? Was there any filtered water to pour into it?
No, nothing.
Oh no, so it was like a pre.
It was just a bottle. It was
water,
two little bottles of lukewarm water that have been sitting
fuck.
underneath the computer all day.
12 ounces.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, bro. Fuck that shit. The thing's worth 10 cents.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
What were you say?
Nothing. I fear as I get older, like my lack of patience for these little minor inconveniences are going to cause me to have like a heart attack or something because I'm way too young to be this bitter about little things like that.
It ain't worth it, but it sucks getting got. Sometimes at the end of the day, you just got to let it go. Whether or not it's you spent $20 on a bullshit resort fee, or maybe you lost a hat when you were 15, and guess what? It's just a fucking hat.
Get over it.
Get over it, dude. No, I'm fucking around. But I would love to hear more from him about this when he hears. So we'll get it. Maybe we'll have him call in or we'll have him reply with an email, whatever he's comfortable doing. And maybe we can enlist some other friends who remember the night where I told him about it because I know he was not alone when he came to that show. I know his sister listens to the pod too. She's a friend. I'd love to hear what she had to say, and maybe some of our other boys from high school who might be familiar with it. We'll get to the bottom of this.
We can have a trial.
And we'll get him a new hat while we're at it. Come check me out on the road. The 8th and the 9th, I'm in Syracuse and Albany at the Funny Bone. Looking forward to both of those shows. Then I'm at the Emmaus Theater in Emmaus, Pennsylvania, the 30th of March. I am at the DC Comedy Loft the 4th through the 6th of April. And then the 7th, I am at the Punchline in Atlanta. I'm also going to be at Helium in Portland, Oregon in June. I got more dates trickling in. Keep your eyes peeled for my special. Hit us up at Oops the Podcast. But more importantly, if you have funny emails to share with us, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. He is at Ryan is really polite. You have anything else to add there, pal?
Nope. Don't have sex with dead bodies.
And don't steal from people. It's not nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully I didn't either, but we'll see. So that's it for now, guys. We'll talk soon. Ciao.